Yep, that's right. I said it. Hello everyone, the Devious Melon here, and as of recently, I've been thinking a lot when it comes to SCP Secret Laboratory. As you guys may have noticed, I haven't really been uploading videos on this game, and I've took time off making videos before, but I just can't seem to get back into making content on this game. And it's certainly not for a lack of trying. I've opened up Vegas tons of times and started clipping down footage for various projects, but I'm really struggling to find reasons to stay interested, and because of that, I've been talking with a bunch of my friends about the game, and I've come to the conclusion that, honestly, I don't think I like this game anymore.
What?
Or, to put it in a more compelling way that my friend said, the way we play SCP Secret Laboratory isn't what the game is set out for anymore, and that speaks volumes to me. Let me explain. Back in early 2020, when me and my friends first discovered the game, we were obsessed with playing it. We got our own private server and would play it non-stop. Every weekend was an SCP weekend, and the debates we would have afterwards were beautiful. Fast forward to the past 2 years and we've played the game like 4 times. I've spent more time talking about this game in videos than actually playing it, and I honestly just want to put my reasons why into video format to see if anyone else agrees and shares the same viewpoint as mine. Now, of course, before I even get into any of this, we have to address that because the majority of my time playing SCP Secret Labs has been on a private server with my friends, I have a very different experience to a player that would spend time on a public server. I've not experienced public servers to the extent someone like Icy Balls or Star Hottie 28 has. So the few times that I have, the issues are much more apparent to me. So you can't all just say that I've got nostalgia goggles on now. You will anyway.
My hair is thinning a bit.
Oh, Your Highness, I'm sure it's not that noticeable.
Now, the first and most glaring thing that has changed in the last few years of this game is the graphics. The graphics in Secret Laboratory have been constantly evolving since its release. But once it reached its 7.0 update, the game reached a look that stood out and maintained this look right up until the end of 12.0's Mimicry update. And then it arrived. HDRP. Let me get this out the way right now before I lose brain cells. Upgrading SCP-SL to HDRP in 13.0 made this game look like shit. What they did with the lighting of this game makes everything look so bland and ugly looking. Now, this is not HDRP's fault, no way. HDRP rivals Unreal Engine in terms of graphics quality, and you can make some beautiful graphics with the pipeline enabled in a Unity project, but it has not been utilized effectively at all in Secret Laboratory. Now, that's not to say SCP-SL and the standard pipeline didn't have problems. It did, but there was a consistent and eye-catching style to it that currently the game doesn't have. Door panels, screens, and lights used to have this stylistic flair whenever you would look around. Grenades and flashbangs used to have beautiful effects, and light and shadows would bleed into other rooms. You used to be able to hide behind a door and see it swing open with the shadow casted of an SCP on the floor before even seeing the monster itself, and it helped create such a scary environment. Now, the thing is, a lot of the old screen effects from the game came from this Unity asset store pack, and Northwood now wants to make their own assets, which might explain why a lot of the cool effects are gone, but I mean, they haven't exactly replaced them with anything cooler.
So sad.
If they replace them at all. Now in SCP Secret Laboratory, everything is so lit up, you can hardly notice shadows in some places, and when you do notice the shadows, the resolution is so goddamn awful. It takes away from the effort that people have put into the models and level. The shadows in this game have always been a bit pixelated, but these are the shadows on ultra settings. It is bad. The lighting is in such an odd place that turning off the facility lights makes the human models have more detail. Did you know ambient occlusion is enabled in this game still? Bet you didn't, because whatever they've done with the lighting makes it next to impossible to notice. Did you know the door panels lights dim? Probably not, because Northwood are scared to turn Bloom past the 1.0 intensity. I remember me and Hubert were discussing Bloom and he turned it up more, and look at this. It can look good. Did you know the scientist's hair is not actually grey and it's a texture bug with the lighting? Still, could be worse. At least his hair doesn't disappear. And another thing, what happened to colour in this game? In certain rooms, there used to be reds, blues, and greens that would contrast with the hallways of zones. Now everything is just the same color. Hope you like the color palette grey. What happened to Nuke having smoke coming up with an animation of it exploding when the nuke was launching? What happened to glass around the facility?
Look at those windows, how beautiful they are. I love it. If you get in, you can actually see the reflection of the interior. It's so great.
What happened to checkpoints? Hell, Northwood managed to make volumetrics for the surface zone and the evacuation area on no pipeline. And now on HDRP, they are using fake volumetrics when you can enable it with a click of a button on any light source in a scene. What the fuck happened? Now, I've talked so much about this on the channel, it's driving me insane. So I'll just tell you the most important parts of this when it comes to SCP Secret Laboratory. Horror stingers?
Oh my god!
Bring them back. It's genuinely so bizarre this needs to be requested so much. Now, me and the Polish Hottie are friends, and he can tell you that no one has pushed for this to come back more than me. It literally got to a point where anytime Hewitt would see me in game and get all cutesy, runs up to me, I look back at him and ask, have you added back the horror stinger yet? And he runs away. I let it slide though because he is a little cutie and is probably one of the few people at Northwood still with passion for this game. Like, have you ever seen a man so excited he got Snake working? Didn't think so.
Look at that. It's peak.
Please remove Snake. Generally, what are you doing? Back to the horror of this game. It's even more strange that there is absolutely no push to add back the horror stingers at all, but the effort was put in place to add back a massive labyrinth and introduce a cut track to 079. Hell, even Pocket Dimension got updated with a new soundtrack. The thing that is absolutely insane to me is, the horror stingers haven't been in the game since Parabellum. That was 4 years ago. A good chunk of this game's player base probably doesn't even know that horror stingers used to exist in this game, and that is unreal to me. Like, do you not see an encounter with an SCP and just think, wow, this is really anticlimactic? Because I sure do. It's honestly baffling to me how horror stingers worked alongside SCP-173's exclusive stingers in Parabellum, but only Peanuts one now remains in the game, implying that the code is still there, it's just that the audio is missing. It's such a massive, jarring inconsistency to have in a game for literally years, and Northwood just goes, Eureka! That's it! We'll rework the door panels in the game! The amount of time spent on excuses as to why it's not added back yet is laughable considering how easy it would be to re-implement it. And hell, if people have a problem with it, make horror stingers a toggleable feature in the settings. It's like if Dead by Daylight got rid of chase themes or GTA got rid of radio stations. It's such a strong part of SCP encounters, and it's been left to rot for so long now. And I'm tired of this neglect to the horror of this game. Do I even need to explain further how horror stingers help with the horror of this game? I mean, I made this whole video on the matter, but the too long didn't read version. Horror stingers scary. Make encounters with SCPs scary. Make me scared. To bring up the lighting again, it was another part of the game that helped create the feeling of horror throughout the facility, and there was a lot of areas that were dark that could be used as an advantage to hide from the SCPs. Prime example being old server room staircase and that little hidey hole. But now everything in the game has to be brightened up for readability, because what's a containment breach of deadly monsters without the power of the sun? Take the dead bodies around heavy. You almost have an element of horror like this guy that was ripped apart, but the surrounding area is in pristine condition, lit up nice and cozy for Christmas. During 14.0, one room that was actually quite dimly lit was SCP-106's room, and it looked pretty damn good. Especially because the bloom in this room was actually standing out, and then 14.1 came around and replaced all the light bulbs with those lights you see at shops your girlfriend takes you to that saps the energy from your body. Oh, and boxes. Does anyone remember this little warning? This piece of text that had been in the game since its release and was taken out during 13.0, the Lethal Sun update. Let me just read it out very carefully. Increasing brightness significantly worsens the mood of the game. Try to set this value to as low as you can. The default value is recommended. Ah, okay, I see your point, yes. So you want more lights? Like, come on. The literal slogan for this game that you see in every post is, "See you in the dark." What fucking dark? What area in this game portrays a dark atmosphere? Even the whole point of the heavy rework was to make it darker, and you can't even commit to that. The only areas that look cool, dark, and atmospheric are the out-of-bound areas. Look at how cool this loading bay area looks, and try and forget the fact that this is just the ripped containment breach room. Look at all the cool and scary gameplay moments that can happen here. No! No cool areas! That will encourage camping, and we can't have that anywhere in this game. We will prevent it. By the way, here's a snake minigame that actively encourages camping. See you in the dark. Hell, even if you go to turn down the brightness, it's not even a brightness slider, it's saturation. Oh look, you have a slider for brightness in-game. There's your horror. See you in the dark. And the dark is deep-fried orange. Here's a better slogan for you. My eyes are getting fucking strained because it's way too bright.
Now this is a loaded handgun. And what we're going to do now is kill ourselves because this is horrible.
This one is an interesting one, and it became so jarring to me during 14.0. But this game is like a small-scale battle royale now.
What the fuck is that?
Everything is so fast-paced, and it's by design. Old SCP-SL, the pace was slow, and the game wanted you to take every moment in. It wanted you sneaking. It wanted you running into dead ends. It wanted you to traverse the facility carefully and to value your life. Current SL needs you to do everything as quickly as possible, otherwise your team isn't going to get points and you're going to lose. So pick up every SCP item and activate generators so a helicopter filled with soldiers will come rescue you. Sorry, what's the lore explanation here behind me picking up candies so that the facility sends 9-tailed fox? Probably something to do with Site 45. Oh hey, that leads me into the lore section of the video. It's awful. Moving on. Now, to discuss gameplay further, there is one part of Secret Laboratory's gameplay that has to be the most irritating things about the current game that I genuinely despise. Juking. My god, juking. This game makes me hate the word. I remember a while ago, me and Icy Guy was speaking and we were genuinely trying to figure out when juking became such a massive part of this game. And for the longest time we thought, oh well, obviously it was Parabellum. What else but the gun update? No, it was the mimicry update. And I'll tell you why right now. Oh me. Removing one hit from the SCPs. Besides SCP-173, every SCP takes 2 or more hits to kill a player, and it has led to the most toxic playstyle I've ever seen in video games. It's part of the reasons why SCP encounters aren't scary anymore. Before mimicry, if you were foolish enough to be in a room with an SCP, chances are you were dead. Like you open a door and see Plague Doctor there, you're dead. Now when you see him, all you need is a medkit and some pills, and you can survive this powerful entity while jumping around like you're Super Mario. And don't get me started on these two. I could have sworn the point of this game was SCPs versus humans, right? But it seems the only moment that happens, the humans are mashing WASD and spacebar like a comp match in CS. Please stop, I'm gonna throw up. Besides that, this game is now fully a shooter. And not even a good shooter. That's the main focus through and through. Don't come into this game wanting to be scared and have a laugh with your friends. You need the right build for your crossfec, otherwise you're a waste of space.
Get those attachments up. Wait, what is that?
What the?
What?
Dude.
What is that?
Take the stock.
What is with the stock off?
Dude, that, where's the laser? Where's the laser? Wait, guys. Maybe we should just let him have fun with the game and use his own attachment preset.
Good choice, Captain. Good choice.
Thank you for watching this skit. This was recorded by the Devious Melon, and this is brought to you by Chicken on a Stick.
What? You're scared of Shy Guy? Psst, pussy. It takes 2 armed guards to take down that canonically invincible being. This game is also ridiculously obsessed with balance. Every roll, every item, every layout has to be perfectly balanced, otherwise it's just not fair. Cause yeah, when I go up against horrible monsters and trained militia, this wrinkly old man needs a chance to take them all down. It's only fair. Actually, you know what? Prime example of this game's obsession with balance, 14.0's heavy containment rework actually might have been peak for about 2 weeks. You see, during the beta, there weren't as many doors as there are now. In fact, you could get long hallways that would stretch across the whole zone. So much so that the fog engulfed the area at times. That was the whole appeal to the new Heavy, was the long uninterrupted hallways, a zone with actual unique gameplay compared to the others. The clutter system was more random as well, and I swear had more props that just don't exist anymore. Junk room could actually look like a junk room. So when I've been putting all this footage together and visiting older versions, even just between 14.0 and 14.1, made me realize that Heavy originally wasn't made with the game's current balancing in mind, and that is the reason I liked it. But then the community got their underwear in a twist because it was too long and you couldn't outrun anything. And because of that, Human made the zone have more doors and less clutter.
God, I love balancing.
I actually don't think I care what anyone says to this. Long spooky hallways beat shitty same door on repeat any day of the week, and it's a prime example of how balance crazed this game has to be now, that you butcher half the appeal of your new update in the first place. Yeah, fair enough, 14.0. I didn't realize the aura you had for about 2 weeks. Too bad things got a bit bugged, but that's a topic for another chapter. But back to guns, because what's an SCP game without the importance of weapons? The thing is, weapons have always been a part of the game, it's true, but they used to be so simple to use that there wasn't much thought to the balance of it all, because the main focus of the game was not gunplay, and I don't think it should be. Like back in the day, being a D-class with a weapon felt like an achievement, an example of how far you've made it into your journey of escaping the facility.
Alright, how are you doing after you got your surgery?
It's pretty good, even though I don't like the robo-throat. My god, what is that?
Now it's just another cog in a wheel, and that's not even mentioning that some players don't even bother escaping anymore. Why would they? They gotta stick around to get that next best juke on 939.
What is my purpose?
You make reworks.
Oh my god.
Now to my favorite part of current SCP Secret Laboratory. The updates. The exciting updates. They're just so boring, man. SCPSL will go through a phase of hearing news about the latest update, hype builds up for it, update releases and it's just another rework, hype is gone, and then you're in the dark ages for another good part of the year. So you in the dark. Now back in the day when it was just Hubert and a few others, you could forgive the times between updates because it was a small team, but that small team shared the same vision and the updates were actually interesting and important. Now you have Northwood being in the hundreds of the amount of staff they have with multiple different departments with massive communication issues, and trust me when I say that, it is a massive issue. So now updates have parts from one team that aren't communicated to another, and the result is an update that is frankly just not needed. First things first, this game when it comes to updates has had its focus on reworks for too goddamn long now. For a game with such a limited budget and limited manpower, the focus for updates is driven into the most time-wasting segments I've ever seen, and reworks are the main focus when it comes to mainline updates. What the fuck are you doing?
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
And hell, it's been that way for a while, but up until 12.0, the reworks were something that were understandably needed, and a good chunk of those reworks being on the SCPs, you could at least forgive it because it was focusing on the most important parts of the game. Now, I swear Northwood is picking things out of a hat to rework. I've seen other games rework parts of their game, but it's typically accompanied with new substantial content. Take Dead by Daylight as an example.
I see
Hello. But I've never seen a company put the effort to rework their game with the new content being one item and pat themselves on the back. Also, what happened to pairs tests? They did a really cool one once with the loot changing in light and adding more locked rooms, loot scaling with how many players are in a server, genuinely making such a cool and interesting change to the gameplay. And Northwood are just like, I don't want to play with you anymore. But no. Let's put all our focus into a keycard rework. A rework that had miscommunication in it too, by the way. Back to reworks, but I always feel like every time we get a rework to something, it loses the iconicness it once had for just kind of realistic looking slop. I never gave keycards a second thought until I saw these and realized, wow, these are better. But past that, I swear, the moment Northwood actually starts removing assets from the game that were containment breach bit by bit, the iconic bits of this game went along with it, except for the projector main menu. That was Northwood's peak creation. Too bad they got rid of it, and this menu has been in the game's life cycle more than the old one was. This game is 8 years old this year, by the way. Man, when I first played this game and saw that projector every time the round restarted, I always thought the story to this game was we're rewatching why the containment breach happened from different perspectives each time. But wall of text is so much cooler. Picture this. It's 2020 and you're loving Mega Patch 2. The new reworked micro is great, and Northwood have just done a silly little April Fool's post. Oh, they're joking about making a second micro rework and wasting development's time. That's so silly. Who would do such a thing? And another thing about updates is that it takes Northwood so long now to actually add features, and I'm certain that's because they have to make every model look realistic enough to match up with other existing models. Like back in old Secret Lab, stuff looked pretty low res, almost like it's an indie game. Hey, I remember Anemic Alien and No Fingernails, but the thing is, because the game didn't have so much quality to it, stuff could be added quickly. Now it's just a pain to get things added to the game. Like, half of what was added in 14.0 was originally meant to be in the game way before they were actually released. Micro, particle disruptor, goggles, and respawn overhaul. But nothing takes the cake more than the MTF model being finished in 2019. It took 5 years. Oh, but Melon, it takes a long time to model characters, and it was just one person. Oh, okay then. But their art supervisor can revamp Pocket Dimension in 2 days. Don't bullshit me. They put it on the back burner until it was too jarring to continue using the Fuse models in game. Fuse models that had better quality eyes than just one flat color. I actually love how ridiculous that is. The new models have so much detail to them, right up until you get to the eyes. Make no mistake, these models are good, and the artist did a great job. But like, if you can't do eyes, and eyes are probably the hardest thing to do on a human, just use Fuse's eye models. It's free and easier to do. Now, people will again say I have nostalgia goggles for the older versions, but no. I had nostalgia goggles for the newer versions, if that makes any sense. I was excited by Heavy Duty. I really was. And Northwood are clearly very proud of their work, but they're already moving to 15.0 when, honestly guys, 14.0 is not even finished. And I'm sorry, but you're really gonna have to bear with me on this one, but 14.0 and 14.1 introduced just a few bugs and issues here and there. Like, okay, so we got micro stairs, we got micro door trim, we got massive and inconsistent door props leading to nowhere, inconsistent handprints, elevator lights go through walls, shadows glitching, inconsistent collision for items, this light in junk room, this map generation, nuke stairs, they're not even stairs, this one-sided texture in nuke, environmental objects just ending, fake volumetrics don't change color with nuke. Server room elevator's collision is broke. 106 can do this in servers. This wall has a gap in collision. This server room pipe doesn't meet the wall. These textures are overlapping, so are these textures, 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 whatever the fuck this is. Waterfall's audio coding. Bulkheads push small items out the map. There's bouncy ball and out of bound areas, facility guards calling us broken, floating light. 049 and 173's room has run out of grating. New human models don't get their necks snapped by SCP-173. Humans don't lose their hands with SCP-330. SCP-330 still has the old hand models. Humans don't lose their eyes with SCP-1344. Fallen eye model is different from the player model. Intercom reverb is horrible. Audio ducking. No eyelashes. Floating eyelashes. 173 can't kill you when you're on this pipe. Inconsistent design decisions. Juking map design? This wall is gone. Please help me. I am stuck. New lockers, less detail. Visible capybaras, scientist hair, pedestal lighting, Tesla lights broken. Tesla light, no shadow, full shine. This fucking thing. Map floor textures abruptly change. Fences around powerful magnets. Heavy armor knee guard issue. SCP-127's door button is being eaten. Bulkhead in this hallway. 106's minimap and this broken checkpoint. Entrance checkpoint suddenly blue. 079 has old micro icon. I shouldn't be here. Wall texture overlapping locker. My poor lore, it's disappearing. Why is this panel glowing? Red light clip through wall. Inconsistent closed door icons. Inconsistent elevator music. Texture overlapping old sign for 914. No spawn lantern, it hurts my eyes. Pistol icons on a generator. What the fuck? 2 gramophones when spectating. Computers and entrance zone are gone. Outdated loading screens just from 14.0. Some door buttons just disappear. Green screen feature doesn't work. 106 can teleport into 079's room. I can't even begin to explain. Skeleton is visually broken. Grammar. Ledge above 079's room. 173 can't kill you. 173 can't teleport over this small little wall. 173's shitting sound is global now since all the zones are too close to each other now. Thank you. Now, I could have sworn the word rework implies improving on something. Now, I know. I definitely sound like a petty bitch there, and some people may call these issues nitpicking. But say if there's like 2 or 3 bugs in your house, sure, that's just leaving your window open. But if there's over 70 bugs in your house, you have a dead carcass under the floorboards. Labor of love my ass.
Oh, no.
Now this part is a thing that stems from the previous points of the video, along with the community current SCP Secret Laboratory attracts. Content creation on this game is a joke now, that focus entirely on juking, news videos, guilty, and whatever the fuck this guy's sniffing up his nose when he makes videos. This game's whole reason for existing past a year is thanks to the old videos of Kraken, Bed Bananas, and Frisky, to name a few, which all focused on a group of friends playing this game for fun, with roleplay scenarios they find themselves in the game. And this is what appealed to a lot of gamers. It was fun and unique, stuff you could watch for hours. Now videos are genuinely embarrassing to watch. Everything is about getting that sick juke off an SCP with throwing in the R slur every now and then.
You're retarded, Jesus Christ.
Thrown in with some occasional homophobia.
Massive homosexual.
And racism.
Scanning for Mexicans. We got a Mexican! He's resisting arrest, and he's black. I'm taking the shot.
Whoops. Sorry guys, I was just watching one of Northwood's official partners. It's already bad as it is, but then there's the titles and thumbnails, man. Man, oh man, it's rough out here. So much so that I'm gonna give you an exclusive guide to making an SCP-SL thumbnail right now. Okay, so first things first is you wanna get an elevator in Create Game and place a whole load of grenades. Bonus points if you're holding a pink candy. We then want to put an SCP in the middle standing there, or a D-class lying on top of the grenades, and then turn the saturation all the way up. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Now we gotta edit our video, and when I say edit, I just mean copy Lars's subtitles and call it a day.
Yeah, don't pink candy at 3 a.m. Worst mistake of my life.
I just can't bring myself to watch these videos unironically. It's all the same tedious moments that have no heart or effort put into it. Hell, the change of style of videos is even apparent with the Northwood channel itself. Going from the cool reveals of Scopophobia and Parabellum to fucking heavy metal? We never knew how good we had it with the Mimicry reveal trailer, did we? The one video from recent SCPSL that I actually enjoyed was this Flamingo song, man. Like, this guy right here is what I call character. But like I said, the videos on SCP Secret Laboratory now are just a direct consequence of the current version of the game and all the changes. The game caters to this particular style of content now, and it's just sad to me. To be fair, I don't blame the people who enjoy this content. Watch whatever you want. It's just more so the fact that there used to be a lot of heart put into the content of this game, and now it's just a race of getting slop out as soon as possible. Hello, if you're wondering why my mic sounds different, it's, well, because it is. During the process of making this video, my hard drive started dying, and all my YouTube stuff was on there. So as my hard drive was dying, I had to transfer over stuff from the hard drive to my SSD. And let me tell you, when your computer is beeping at you to turn the computer off, you should probably do that. But yeah, I'm sorry, I meant to record this section of the video, the intro. So as I was making this script, I started to get more and more curious about what other creators think about the game and wondered if they shared similar viewpoints to mine. So I reached out to a few different content creators, old and new, to see what they had to say on the matter. So I asked some people this very question. Now, I'll level with you, I actually didn't expect so many people to respond to my question, so you're gonna have to bear with me on this one, okay? Get some snacks and get a drink, and get ready to listen to some absolute wafflers. And who better to start off with than the man himself?
Yo everyone, my favorite unscrupulous fruit, the devious melon, asked me to record my opinions on SCPSL and how it's changed over the years. So I would say the first thing that I don't really like that's changed over time is just the pacing of the gameplay. So back in the day, right, you would be sneaking around the facility. You're in heavy containment zone, you're all alone. There could be anything around any corner, behind any door, and whenever a spawn would come in, you would be relieved or terrified, depending on who spawned. But now it's just, you get from zone to zone so fast, you get wave after wave to the point where nothing feels really impactful. You're just going from place to place, and it just all feels like it doesn't really have any meaning. And speaking of the spawning system, it just feels kind of weird because, like, oh, let me turn on this generator as a chaos insurgent, by the way, to help out the Foundation with their power issue. You know, it just feels so disconnected with what would be helping your team. Also, half the time it doesn't even work because you'll get 6 different SCP items, you'll get 2 scientists out, and yet substantial chaos insurgency has been spotted at Gate A. Like, what are you supposed to do in that scenario? My second issue is just the inconsistent design that Northwood employs into SCPSL over the years, and most of that can probably be blamed on different people working on the game at different times, because, like, you look at the light containment zone hallways with the super futuristic look, and not the end rooms of light containment, by the way, they're still a containment breach. And then you look at heavy containment zone where it's this grounded industrial zone. And you might say, well, Icy Guy, that's a little bit unfair, don't you think? I mean, it's been years in between those things. Oh, okay. How about the different rooms in heavy containment zone that were all added in one update? Like the red trimming in the entire heavy containment zone just isn't apparent in the forklift corner room? Or how about the railing that's broken off in pipe room, but in the server room, there's a piece of the railing just missing? Yeah, I'm sorry, Saito2, but that's an OSHA violation. Stuff like that just makes me think that it's just an issue of miscommunication, which honestly I wouldn't be too surprised. The final issue I have, and this is just a personal opinion of mine, but removing the iconic parts of your game. There's a reason why the game blew up as much as it did back in the day. It had all these futuristic elements with the plasma guns and the micro HID. It had all these goofy models that, yeah, sure were a bit silly, but it helped to reinforce the idea that this was just a silly little indie game made by one dude. Everything just had so much soul to into it, and you could see a vision starting to form around like the 6.0 version. But now everything just feels kind of soulless, and it feels like it's made just to be as realistic as possible, when this is an SCP game. It doesn't need to be realistic. It just feels like Northwood is trying too hard to be a AAA-like company when they're just a small indie team. At least the ones that are working on the game itself. There's like 200 employees in Northwood apparently. I just wish Northwood would go back to their roots and realize what their game was originally intended to be. A fun little horror game to play with friends and have a good time, instead of a competitive shooter where everything needs to be perfectly balanced and hyper-realistic. Anyways, that's been me. Have a nice day, everyone. Oh, also add back Forget About Your Fears. That song was goated.
Updates in SCP-SL in general have been way more focused on the competitive gameplay scene than anything else, which is honestly very sad. If you look at the updates, you've got like all the weapons that have been added to the game, like the A7, the FRMG, you've got the SCP-127, while a lot of the other aspects of the game, like the SCPs themselves, have been relegated to supporting actors for like the guns and the PvP gameplay, which is so sad. Not everything has to have like a meta purpose. That's not the point of SCP. It's the fact that there is such a breadth of SCPs that you can choose from, that you can implement into your game, that you can use, that makes the game fun. And it shouldn't be just drawing between the lines of a competitive game. It should be just a fun, interactive experience that allows you to socially interact with people who are also massive nerds. That's the point. That's why I'm asking for more SCPs in general, like a playable SCP, which is hopefully coming, although it will probably be a furry, a new environmental SCP. That has such a massive impact on everyone in the game, yet we have not made any strides to do that. We reworked all of heavy containment, and all we added were a few SCP items that don't even do that much in the grand scheme of things. One is just a gun, which they have done like 5 or 6 times in the last few updates, and the other one is just wall hacks. What are we doing? Why are we spending so much time on things that don't really change the gameplay at all, just give you more variety, when that variety is 2 seconds of different gameplay? It's something that is supposedly changing the meta, but then doing nothing, right? It just adds another little layer that in reality doesn't really do anything. That's my biggest complaint with SCP-SL updates.
For me, it's not the scare factor that went down, it's the interesting factor. I saw SCP Lab as a social experiment. You have all these classes that could either work together or kill each other. Instead of evolving this, we got Call of Duty instead. I also didn't like how some of the monsters were remade in weird ways, to what everyone believed it to look like. I understood why 173 needed to be changed, but why 939? The game went in the wrong direction. I think being goofy gave it charm, and that's why people played.
I would say the big thing that's missing in Secret Lab is it feels like there's less of a sense of roleplay, or just sort of memeing about, you know, people will probably just say it's very sweaty these days, and back in the old day it was a bit more casual. And that's something that I would be inclined to agree with. The big thing that I'd say is missing is that players aren't really incentivized to roleplay, and in fact I'd say they're actively disincentivized. As an SCP, if you're up against someone that knows how to play the game, you might as well just kill them as soon as you see them, because if you give them even a second or two, they could close 100 doors on you, they could do a backflip, they could hit you in the dick and piss on your face. It's this weird ironic thing where making the game just objectively more balanced and like more fun in some ways accidentally and unintentionally made people like me, or just anyone, stop playing the game the way a lot of people wanted to play the game. I think most people that joined Secret Lab, they watched people like Bed Bananas or Frisky or, you know, Tiny Tony with Fight Me Demon, or all of these old great clips. And that's how I got into the game. That's how most people I know got into the game, because it was this fun, goofy environment. I love the music box, being able to talk to spectators, right? I love the flamingos. I love SCP-3114, the skeleton. If you really lean in and give players a toolkit to roleplay, and also say, sweats, you're cringe and I hate you, and personally fly to Infamous Invictus's house and just slap him in the face? I don't know why you would do that. I actually love Infamous.
This is pretty easy, actually. The SCPs. I know this is a hot take, but I miss when the SCPs are, you know, actual monsters. It's kind of taken the whole SCP aspect out of the SCP game and just kind of ruined it. You know, in the sense that they were feared and scary to go against. Now it just feels annoying to go against them in some situations, mostly all situations. I miss the old SCP-049 being able to revive people faster. I miss 939 getting more faster, when you shot it. And I miss 173 getting faster the lower health it got. The game just feels more focused on giving them Hume Shield to compensate for all the nerfs that they do to them. I don't know if it's like a dev thing or what, but it always seems like the SCP game where, you know, that has SCP in the title, the SCPs don't really feel that fun to play at all. Another thing that I really just absolutely despise and that I miss about the old community, at least, is I absolutely hate that the newish community, ever since Parabellum came out, they are trying their damnedest to make this game a competitive game. It just really sucks the fun out of the game when you have these players sweating their nuts off in a game that was never meant to be sweaty to begin with. The whole reason I liked SCPSL was because of Bed Bananas and Kraken. You know, the videos that made the game popular, you know, the RP videos. So my first impression going into Secret Lab was, oh, this is a fun RP game. I want to RP in it. That's pretty much non-existent nowadays. I miss back when I first started in 2019. People were just having fun and goofing around, and sure, you had your occasional tryhard, but now they're just everywhere, and it's just not fun to deal with. And then you got people that just, like I said, sweat their nuts off. There's just so much sweating that I could slip off the floors, leaving my Class D cell, dude. Like I said, RP is what got the game popular, and it's probably the most frowned upon thing to do in most cases. But you can still probably find people to do it with. I have no issues, because I just do it regardless of what people say.
The current state of SCPSL, in all honesty, it's amazing. I really enjoy the playability of the new heavy containment zone. I love how Northwood removed every door off the map, and the new bulkheads, they are just awesome. I think that we should replace every door with bulkheads, since there aren't really any normal doors left. Northwood have done an excellent job fixing bugs and balancing the game. Anyway, I'm off to go watch my favorite YouTuber, Infamous Invictus. Goodbye.
I feel like nowadays, people try to get that next clip, you know what I mean? That one that'll go viral. And I feel like back then that wasn't as prevalent. I do notice that people do try quite a lot. It doesn't look like they're trying to have fun. It looks like they're trying to win. And I think that's like a big thing too, is that people play to win and don't play to have fun. My next point is that SCPs can sometimes feel like an afterthought when there's multiple human teams alive. And I thought about this because I feel like it's kind of true. Say I'm an MTF, right? And there's chaos. There's also like scientists and D-class still alive. I would prioritize going after the chaos more than the SCPs. Even though the SCPs should be a bigger threat, I feel like SCPs could be made to be more threatening. Not at the fault of like anything balanced or whatever. I think it's just the way the game is sort of focused now. It's sort of pivoted more towards humans than SCPs at the moment. My third point is that generally I wish there was more communication from Northwood about upcoming things, and they have been getting better at this, but I feel like more things for the public would be nice. Development videos and stuff like that would be majorly helpful in informing the public on what is upcoming, what they can expect for the game, stuff like that. And my fourth point, which actually ties into my last one about informing the public, is community engagement. And I wish there was more of it. And my first point about that is feedback forums. I wish there was more feedback that the players could give to Northwood, so that they can, feel like their voice is being heard, or having one in games that people can directly give feedback. Additionally, I think public dev streams would be very beneficial. Sort of like what Hubert did way back when he would develop the game on stream. Having that again would be huge, because then people could like speculate about what's being developed, or just see what is happening and know that progress is actually being made towards the next update, rather than waiting like a month or two and then like a tiny little drop happens and then a month later they actually get more information. So it would reduce a lot of the waiting, I feel like. And then also just having a stream where people can come play with the developers. So like they would join a server and then we could all just have fun. And it doesn't have to be solely dev focused. I think that would also help improve the communication, engage with the community more, making sure that Northwood actually it shows that Northwood actually cares about the community. That's enough yapping from me. I will let the next person take over. Pee pee poo poo.
I've been playing the game for a couple of years, and I've been a better partner for 2, and I've seen the game go from mainly an RP horror-focused game where every round was so memorable and unique. There was very special time. So whatever the fuck Infamous Invictus is doing, the main reason I got into it, it's gone. The RP side, the horror and RP side of SL it's gone, man. It's dead. So is now it's just rampant with sweaty little pubescent fucks, bro. Sweating their little fucking nuts off. Every fucking game. But yeah, I miss it, man. But that's about it. See ya.
The horror elements of the current version of the game are a little bit lacking. In the older version, yes, it was scarier because it was newer to a lot of us. Partly of it's scarier because it's more analog-y because of the lower graphics and everything being not so good. The big thing, though, for me is the sound effect. There used to be a big kind of like jump scare sound effect that played whenever an SCP showed up or appeared in general in your peripherals, and it would let you know, oh my god, something scary's down that hallway, or oh my god, something just jumped out at me. These days, doesn't really happen anymore. You still get jump scared by 173 or 939 every now and then, but it's not the same. Just some sort of more sound design that is horror in that way. One of the things that I dislike about the game that I'd like changed is more environmental SCPs. I want more SCPs like SCP-956, just any type of environmental ones. An environmental room SCP, an environmental SCP that follows you around or interacts with the map, flickers the lights, does something. Just anything that adds to the horror element of the game, that adds to the aspect of this is an SCP site facility and not just a bunch of humans controlling everything. Because at the end of the day, it is currently humans controlling everything that happens and goes on. And then the last thing that I currently dislike about the game that didn't happen before is the fact that you don't really feel the value from contributing to your team early game. Anytime I'd spawn as, say, a scientist, and I'd escape and become an MTF, and I'd contain an SCP or help save some D-class or this or that, every single time, Chaos would get the next spawn wave. You have to play perfectly for mini wave, you have to play perfectly for the first big spawn wave, and then even if you do both of those, right, the next spawn wave is going to be Chaos. It's just unfair. So I'd like it where it's a little bit more valuable, where you could get a double MTF spawn wave in a row, because those don't really exist anymore. You can't really get two. It's almost always spawn wave, mini wave if you're really good, and then either you win the game because you're doing so well, or it's over. There's no really in-between of the two. But currently, it is almost always the opposite team that's doing well at the start that wins. Almost always late game, it's the other team that wins. Which is just not fair or fun to the D-class that do well, or the scientists that do well, or the guards that do well. Dead stare into the camera, I guess.
Personally, I think SCP Secret Laboratory is in the best place it's been in years. I love all the reworks, and I can't wait to get our Footsteps rework and make an exclusive Patreon post all about it. I mean, that would be so cool of Northwood to do. I don't know anyone there, though. Sigh. So sad. Lowercase xt.
John Northwood, your face is literally the logo of the company, and you ain't fooling anyone with that fake moustache.
Yeah? Well, I fooled your mother into thinking I gave a shit about her, you scrawny fuck.
Jesus Christ, man.
You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna finally add a new SCP, but it's gonna be a canon rapist necrophiliac, just to spite you.
What?
That's the kind of stuff you suckers want to see. That's right, yeah, me! I'm John Northwood. I'm the one who's right. Not you, me!
Okay, there's nothing I love more in life than miscellaneous things, and this section fits right in with that big old word. Now, to be clear, this part of the video is little things that I simply just miss in SCP Secret Laboratory and wish was still in a game, and I definitely didn't think to do this section when I was previously rendering the video. Please help me. Now, to be extra clear for the people in the back, hey Knox.
Hello, I'm also in this video.
Now, what I've listed here are things that I personally liked and thought added something to the game, no matter how big or small. So if I actually see a comment about balancing or whatever, I'm actually going to break something. But with all that being said, let's get into it. Starting with SCP-939 proximity chat and 2 939s. This is just one of those things that has me scratching my head like Shane in The Walking Dead. Don't get me wrong, stealing players' voices is one of the funniest things you can do in the game, or the scariest depending on the line and timing. But seriously, could we not have both? Imagine trying to hold a conversation with lines you've collected to lure people into a trap. It'd be great. Old 939 though. There was just something about it that the newer one simply doesn't have. Like, it was so beautiful trying to convince someone you aren't the dog.
Meow, motherfuckers! Meow.
Oh god.
Meow.
And of course, how could I forget 2 939s? I still remember the moment finding out that that could happen in rounds. It was so funny. I know 2 different models came from miscommunication. Some things never change. But it was one of those happy accidents that led to so many funny encounters, and I just wish it was still a thing, man. Old 106 and 939 rooms. This one is a pretty simple one and probably stems from when the game was more focused on the social / roleplay side of the game. But god, I just miss these large spooky areas. Like, it really gave an idea of the scale of the facility. Plus, it wasn't just implied space. You could actually explore the entire area if you wanted to. Now they are both just death pits, because that's so much fun. I understand getting rid of areas that probably took up a load of memory, but this is the same game that has a culling system that unloads everything but elevators and capybaras. Old map generation. Now, I've already dedicated a whole video on this topic, but older SL simply had better map generation. And no, there you go. I see you seething over the balance and camping issues there. Now, before you type out your comment, let me just whip out the old reliable, okay? When did I ask? The glass cells in old versions, you were met with every type of hallway, VT, bathrooms, airlock, curve, straight. New versions, freeway or four-way. Every single time. Get the fuck out of here with that boring shit. Project the menu. Old menu, aura, aura, aura. New menu, HR complaint. Enough said. P90. This one is purely because I've always loved the P90 in video games and the design of it in real life. Games like Call of Duty, GTA 4 and SCP-SL. I mean, gun nerds will definitely be annoyed that it didn't even reload properly, but I'm just in awe of the P90's design. Locked rooms. Now, this was something that always gave me a sense of progression when playing rounds of Secret Laboratory. I used to always want to explore every room, so when I had a card to access special rooms, it felt rewarding to be in there for me. But yucky variety, ugh. Let's make it so anyone can access the Alpha Warhead room. Old effects. We've already touched on this before, but again, screen flares, explosions, 079 screen being more glitchy, 079 players speaking through speakers had a much more apparent filter, and 096 had this radiant effect going off his model. Just everything used to have a sense of style and flair to it, whereas now everything is just so flat and lacking any sort of details. Beamer breaker. God, I miss you every single day. Man, the social dynamics this thing would bring to dealing with SCP-106 was some of the funniest stuff this game had to offer. There was nothing else like it. The adrenaline of rushing to 106's room with someone, just remembering as you got to his room, oh yeah, one of us has to die. Hell, Northwood even added to this dynamic by adding a coin in 106's room during 11.0, so you could play heads or tails to decide who's the sacrifice. But this is another thing that hasn't been in the game for a long time now. Wait, what? Okay, who's writing this shit?
Alright, one of us to make it to the board. I'll do it! I'll be the hero! Ah!
Animated signs. This is another little thing that I simply just missed, but animated signs are just cool. They did recently add one for 079/173's elevator, but I need more. Like, I want Nuke to have its old text back, along with micro and intercoms. It was another simple thing that drew you to those places when you saw them at a distance. Update hype. Now, yes, this isn't a thing in the game, but it's more to do with the attraction of the updates. But holy shit, Northwood just peaked with hyping up their updates with 11.0 and 12.0, and then just said, no more, I'm feeling sleepy. Everyone and their mum remembers the cool way they were teasing new SCP-173 with him being in the window textures and him appearing in the evac area. It was just such a smart way to generate hype for your update. In the update. With everything I've spoken about in this video, comparing SCP Secret Laboratory from 2020 to 2025, it's a completely different game in every aspect. You might as well call the game SCP Secret Laboratory 2, because this is not the game I was obsessed with, and I don't know if it ever will be again. 15.0 is very blatantly going to finally introduce the new playable SCP, but I genuinely think it's going to be too little too late. It's going to be an SCP designed for the current version of the game, and that does not excite me at all. I honestly wish Mega Patch 2 was just listed in the beta section of this game like the first version is, so I can at least live in bliss with that version and I didn't have to whine so much. I liked old SCP Secret Laboratory. It had character, it had charm, and wasn't pretending to be anything it wasn't. Current SCP Secret Laboratory has galvanizing in it, and it is just awful to me. It doesn't feel scary. It doesn't feel polished. It doesn't even feel welcoming. I really don't like the direction this game has taken and continues to take. I know I've certainly been pessimistic and at times unsportsmanlike in this video, but I'm tired of annoying my friends and going around in circles ranting about the same thing when it comes to this game. If you guys feel the same way and prefer the older versions of the game, luckily enough there's an archive Discord to play any version you want, so you can either get yourself and some friends on an older version or join in on official playdates on the same Discord and this one that I've linked in the description below. There's also this cool modded version of SCP-SL called Tajmod that me and the boys are really excited for. It's still in development but aims to recapture the old casual fun days of SL. It even has women in it. What do you mean the community isn't toxic and it's okay, Tad? As for this channel, I generally don't know what will happen regarding videos. Like I said, I've tried to make videos on SL, but I just can't. I may make videos on other SCP games because I have been playing a few recently, so I might do something with that, but who knows. If there is SCP Secret Laboratory content on this channel, it'll probably be when me and the boys play Mega Patch 2, but we're also busy with adult life. But we do have our shared love for Mega Peak 2. Besides all that, I've been wanting to focus on my other channel, so if you care enough to check it out, I'd really appreciate it. Hubert, I love you, man, but please let it go back to you and a few talented people with a shared vision. There's too many hands on this game doing too little and too different of things that it's become a disjointed mess of ideas. You and your passion was the reason this game was successful, not letting your employees just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. But hey, that's it from me. It's been a long one, and I'm probably in a baguette in Paris or at con by the time this video is out. So, yeah. See ya.
And I'm frankly